Hey everybody, welcome back to KJGH's Gospel Hour right here on WURD 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live at wordradio.com. It's that time, you guys. It's that time. It's time for Faith Stories. If you've been tuning in, and I know you have, you've been enjoying our Faith Story series just like I have. And today, I am so excited to bring on another sister that is going to share how God has been working in her life. So please help me welcome Joanna Jane. Hey, Joanna, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kayla J. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for thinking of me and inviting me on. It's always a great time when I'm able to link up with you.
Yes, of course, of course. I'm super excited to have you. Before we even dive deep into our faith story, gotta ask you on a scale from 1 to 10, how you feeling with all that's going on in the pandemic and in the world? How do you feel?
Honestly, I feel good. I want to say if I had to rate it a 10,
That's good. That's good.
gotta leave a little room for when your flesh want to take over. You know what I mean?
I feel you. I feel you. All right. So let's get on to our faith stories today. All right, let's get on to our faith story. Tell the folks a little bit. When did you get saved? How did you get saved?
Oh man. When I think about it, it's almost to a degree slightly hard to exactly pinpoint, but I do know a change moment in my life. So it's slightly hard to pinpoint because I was raised in a family that all I know is church, right? Like my mom was an evangelist, my uncle was a pastor, my grandma was the mother of the church. Um, you know, it was cell group at the house, Wednesday prayer, 2 services on Sunday, prepping for Bible study on Saturday night with mom. So I feel like it was just always around me. But I want to say probably somewhere between 8 and 10 is
Mm-hmm.
when like me really making that decision, like, okay, I want to go up to the altar and actually be like give my life to God. And I remember and I think I was more so like 10 to be quite honest with you. I just remember, one day being in church and they offered the opportunity to allow God to come into your life and for that change to happen. And I just was like, I'm going, part of it was not thinking too much about it. And part of it was like, I had this example from my family members that this is what you do, right? You don't want to live your life without God. So that's how it happened for me.
That's
However,
amazing.
what happens over time is a little bit different. You start to resent, you go through those phases, which I definitely did.
Share a little bit about that. About
So I want to say, in full transparency, growing up specifically in the Black church, I just saw a lot of contradiction. It didn't sit well with me. And I just felt like for a period of time that, it wasn't maybe for me. I
mm,
knew that I had a relationship with God, but what I was experiencing as far as what we knew as church, it just wasn't hitting home. And I have to say this, the best example I could give is the fact that I started to see where everything was based upon, well, God will fix it. Jesus
mm,
will fix it. But I wouldn't see the people actually doing the physical work that lined up with it. So I didn't know. Now I can say that as an adult looking back. But as a kid, I was like, well, if God's going to fix it, Jesus going to fix it, why your life look like that? And in all honesty, like that's what was going through, my mind. And I had a period where I was like, well, maybe it's not what it's all cracked up to be if this is what it looks like for you. And then I want to say that I was more so it was really posed on me of more like religion than relationship. That was the other part
mm.
that caused me to kind of stray away for a period of time, not really going to church. Always knew read my word, say my prayers, but not necessarily the way I am today. So I would say the religion and not the relationship being more so encouraged caused me to go at distance, and then not seeing where enough people, at least that were within my circle, and that goes even beyond my family. I just wasn't seeing where it was lining up if God's gonna fix it. I don't know. So
Got
that's
you.
kind of what pushed me away a little bit.
No, that's good because a lot of times we don't talk about being taught religion and not relationship. I know it's a big fad now, and I call it fad because some folks they're still teaching religion over the relationship, but call it relationship.
Mm,
And it's amazing because I love when I hear folks say, I realized that I was just kind of going through motions, but didn't really know Jesus, because I feel that all of us have that point in our life, no matter if you're a young Christian or older Christian, there's been a time in your life where you were going through things thinking that this is how it was supposed to be, but the relationship was truly lacking, if there was any. So I'm really excited to hear you talk about that.
yes.
Um, Share with us a time when it was nobody but God that got you through that. Like you was ready to give up, and God told you to just hold on just a little longer, daughter.
Mm, wow. You know, a lot of those moments, I can now see it in hindsight.
Mm.
Really see it in the moment. I have to be honest with you. Sometimes people, they get in prayer, right?
Hmm.
Clap their hands 2 times, turn around, jump up, maybe fall out on the floor, and expect that sometimes, it's going to show immediately in person for your eyes, like within the first 5 minutes.
Right.
And that's not how God necessarily has it worked out. And it doesn't mean that he's not working. It's just not in your eyesight to see. So God did some miraculous things more recently, and I want to say probably over the last 3 years. I think I had to pull it all together. If I was to use a thread and pull it all together, my company, as you know, I'm the founder and CEO of O'Hara Developments, and one of our inner city projects is primarily focused in the city of Baltimore.
Hmm.
And looking back, when I did not come to this city thinking about doing a neighborhood development at all. The check in the account is proof of that. Like, it was definitely not a part of the plan. But I saw how God opened up doors in the beginning, and now I can see where periods of time where He was working, but I didn't know He was working. I was frustrated about why things weren't moving forward, for in my opinion. But
Hmm.
now I can say, oh my gosh, He was just allowing such and such to talk about me in private rooms that I didn't know. Oh my goodness, applications were being approved on my behalf and I had no idea. I can see how it is now looking back. In the moment, I was just trusting him and walking by faith. And now today, I mean, to be in literally a neighborhood redevelopment project, led by a woman, led by a Black woman at that, that speaks volumes. And I know that's nothing but God, because our
Yeah.
account never reflected multi-million dollars, at one time in my eyes. So that I know is truly nothing but God. So I encourage people that when you pray and you ask God to lead you, even though you may not see it in your physical eyes, don't think that He's not working, because He can be allowing dreams to be downloaded in someone in 12 states over. He could be, working in the spirit for someone that's reviewing your loan application, but in your present moment, you may not see it necessarily with your physical eye, but it
Mm.
is happening. He is working, if you truly believe.
Wow, that's good encouragement right there. That's
Mhm.
really good encouragement. Um, so Joanna, we all know that this walk isn't always easy. Share with us just a little bit of how you know you go through this journey. We know that there are ups and downs of life. You just shared how God has been truly working within your life. How do you stay walking on this path with Him?
At this point, God has shown me enough that I know who He is.
Mm.
Literally, if I don't wake up tomorrow, I know who God is. So what helps me to stay focused at this point is that He has allowed Himself to be present, and me to feel His presence
Mm.
enough that that keeps me. Now, when people tell me no and it doesn't make sense, I'm like, okay, God, that's, you gonna work that out.
Right.
Or, when more obstacles come up, I said, well, you called me out here, so I know you're going to figure it out. I
Right.
put it back on God. I don't stress about it because he has done so many miracles in my life that
Mm-hmm.
I know you're going to work it out, because I know that you're not going to have me stand on a platform and talk about all these things that you brought me through, and you're going to leave me out here in the desert. Not the Father that I serve. So what you going to
That's
do?
right.
So
Mm,
I give it back to God. That's what really gets me through. I also must say that I'm very mindful, especially in this season, as not only in my professional life, but my personal life is changing. I'm mindful of the people that I keep around me, making sure that those are people that know how to, yes, check me if need be, right? But also do it in love and grace, and do it from a standpoint that I know is being spirit led and not through someone's personal ego, jealousy, or envy, right? So
gotcha.
being careful of the people that you keep around you. Also dialing back. I rarely listen to the radio. I
Mm,
check in, here and there with the news, because I got to make sure that I'm staying current. However, I don't let that consume me.
mm,
So I'm intentional about what I listen to. I start my day off in meditation, prayer. I have a word that's spoken over my life by one of the various pastors that I follow. And then I start my day. I don't touch emails, and phone calls until a certain time in the morning. And I'm strategic about what I listen to throughout the day. From about at least 11:30 to somewhere around 12:30, there's a 20 to 30-minute gap that is blocked off to also go to God in prayer. Take time out and say, God, I thank you. I thank you for my hair follicles. I thank you for my stomach. I thank you for my fingers, my toes. Just thanking him. It's not always about gimme, 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 gimme. I need. Just thank you. Because literally at this point in my life, if God does nothing else, I'm good. I know him.
mm.
I'm cool. I know he still
Yeah.
has so much more that he's doing, but I'm good.
Wow. That was encouraging to me, just even that. Like that's a good way to keep it going.
Mhm.
That's a good way to keep it going for sure. Joanna, if someone is listening and they're saying, I hear you, Joanna, that sounds real nice. I
Mhm.
want to be able to do that. I'm not sure about this God that you serve though. Uh Share a little bit of why folks should choose Jesus.
I would rather you be in the storm with God than in the storm without him. Doesn't mean that you're not going to go through. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have challenges. It just means that the covering, the protection that you will have as you go through will be different. You will
Mm,
realize that these are not things coming against you, but they're you being used for you, to teach you. It will be unveiled, the revelation that will happen, whether months down the line or years down the line. You'll be like, oh my God, God was really looking out for me. You won't resent it. The experience will be different. As I stated earlier, the people that God had me meet in the very beginning, when I couldn't even, nowhere near my conversation was a neighborhood redevelopment. Looking back now, these are the very people that all are supporting or helping things come together in some shape or form. He literally ushered me into the right space. So just imagine whatever you may be going through. It could be professional, it could be personal that you're dealing with. Let God usher you even through it. Doesn't mean that, things won't happen, but when you are covered by Him,
mm.
you're pretty straight. You're pretty straight. I'm just saying, you're pretty straight. He's going to make sure. And for anyone that has, never heard me speak before, I am speaking from a standpoint of a woman that, when I decided to quote unquote fire my boss and jump, walk by faith, leave it all, to do something that I know God was calling me more from, I gave everything up. And when I say everything, I mean everything: retirement, savings, everything, and still had a daughter, right? Personal life, ended up getting divorced. Like everything for me, that was my everything. To now see how God is restoring, restoring. So
Sure.
when you give it to Him, when He asks you to turn it over to Him, trust and believe anything God asks you to give to Him, He's not going to give something to you that's less than.
That's it right there. Oh, I like that, Joanna. I'm gonna quote that. I might preach that. Come on here.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's not gonna do us like that. So, don't I would say, don't get all caught up in the super fancy prayers, y'all. Don't think that you have to study and know every single scripture. Those are the things that cause pressure for me. Even if it's one
Mhm.
scripture for the next 6 months that you focus on, I'd rather you focus on one scripture and learn how to apply it in your life than try to memorize 50 scriptures and your life don't look any different. When you are praying, talk to God like he's your homie. If you don't know the exact words to say, just say, listen, God, if you're up there, however you may be, I'm trying to figure out you, understand it all. Um, I'm just being myself. Can you just let me know that you're here in some shape or form throughout my day today? Show me the scripture to be able to read. Help me as I go throughout the day with covering and guidance. Whatever I may say out of my mouth, let it not be harmful to someone. You could just talk
Mhm. Mhm.
until you get to the point where you do know how to, you know, really call on them and break strongholds in the spirit and warfare. Everybody don't know how to do that in the very beginning, and don't feel intimidated if you don't.
Right. Right. That's it. Don't feel intimidated if you don't. I feel you. A lot of times people be like, I can't do it that way, or I don't look that way. I don't sound that type of way. He doesn't care how you sound or you look.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He just wants you,
Just
authentically
like
you. Because
Just
this is the crazy part. Can we tell them the secret? He made you, so he already know how you are.
that's right. That's right.
He
Yeah.
already know. He
Yeah.
made you the way you are, so he doesn't want you to come with no pomp and circumstance. He wants you to come how he made you.
Because there's a nation connected to you.
There you
So
go.
he did it on purpose because wherever you are, whether you live in the hood, the suburbs, whether you used to be a prostitute, a drug dealer, whatever your past life was, he knew that you were going to have that experience
Mm,
because he's going to ultimately use that on a major platform in some shape or form. And your major could be in your household, your major could be in your neighborhood, your major may be on literally a national mic. Everybody's major is different, but he's going to use that same thing of what he brought you out of to save millions that you probably can't see. So
mm,
none of it is by accident.
wow. None of it is by accident. That's right. Joanna, it's getting time to end this. Any last words to any of the listeners? Anybody listening?
I want people to know because I often teach on, as you know, Kayla J, about faith and finance. And in
Right.
a season right now where, people are trying to recoup from the loss of last year, they're also receiving, various relief funds from PPP and unemployment and all these different things. And some people are also thinking about, like, wow, look how quickly things can be stripped away from me, in the midst of a pandemic. Maybe the job that you thought that was always going to be there is in a heartbeat. They said, "Oh, you got to go." Whatever that thing may be, and now you're looking at how do you put all this together. I want you to know that it's not the money; it's your faith. Your
Mm,
faith will unlock it all. Your faith will literally unlock it all. Chase value, not money. Create value and operate by faith. I promise you, if you do that, all of the resources that you need will be provided because God is the source. So create your business plan, whether you have $5 in your account or $5,000 in your account or 5 cents for that matter. Create the value. When he downloads something into your spirit, find it, write it down, do your part. Don't mind God's business. He gonna work it out, but do your part because what faith is in the spirit, money is in the natural.
wow. Wow. All right. We're going to end on that because that was powerful in itself. Joanna, I want to thank you for coming on and sharing your faith story with Kayla J's Gospel Hour. I certainly appreciate you, sis. And again, just thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure.
All
Y'all
right.
heard it. Y'all heard the faith story. Make sure y'all go share it. Find the YouTube video and share it with your friends so it can bless somebody. But you're listening to Kayla J's Gospel Hour right here, right now on WURD. It's time to get right back to the music.